subjective.
So it is our ordinary world. And then we broach this idea of another level of reality, ultimate reality, which is called suchness or emptiness, thusness. It has a lot of different names. And we started talking about what that is and what the point of that is and what that's all about. And Master Shantideva, at the end of last class, we started to touch upon how does one train to experience that. You know, the idea of ultimate reality, the idea of emptiness is that through perceiving a higher ultimate level of reality and knowing for a fact how the universe works truly, we live differently, we behave differently, and we become a different kind of being. And by understanding ultimate reality, we change our behavior and we change the nature of our being. By experiencing ultimate reality directly, we profoundly alter the nature of our being, and we profoundly alter the way in which we experience the world and engage the world and everyone and everything in the world, such that we become a very virtuous, pure, holy being very quickly. Which is the goal of Buddhism. You know, the goal of Buddhism is to be completely pure, completely happy in paradise forever. Right? So paradise is not inhabited by lousy, grumpy, miserable, unhappy beings. Right? Paradise is inhabited by completely blissed out, happy all the time without exception, you know, in every way beings. Yeah. So, you know, we're trying to get from where we are, which is this suffering life, with all of its attendant sufferings, heretofore described many times in many other courses. We're trying to get from where we are to this state of complete, ultimate happiness in paradise forever. And the linchpin of that is emptiness and ultimate, and understanding and perceiving emptiness and ultimate reality. Why? Our reality is perceptual. It's based upon the nature of our perception. What we perceive, the way we perceive, the nature of our perception is our reality. Our reality is a perceptual event, right? What a roach perceives is the roach's reality, based upon the way the roach's mind functions and the roach's senses function. What we perceive, based upon the way in which our mind functions and our senses function, is our reality. Internally, externally, everything, right? So, by changing the way in which our mind functions, by changing the way in which we perceive, we begin to experience a different valid reality. And so the difference between us and a roach, or us and a paradisical being, or a being with heavy suffering in a lower realm, is the way in which the mind functions and the perceptions function. You know, beings in realms with heavy suffering, their mind and their senses function to experience everything as intense pain and intense suffering, and that's basically all they can perceive and experience. And therefore they are suffering in a craving, you know, spirit realm or hell realm or whatever the case might be. And beings which are existing in a paradisical realm have minds and senses which can only function to perceive everything as wonderful. And, you know, we can't even begin to imagine it, really. We can't even begin to conceive what that would be like. So the linchpin of that is our perception. You know, as our perception changes, our reality changes. And so, as human beings, we are trapped and limited to perceiving our conventional reality, our ordinary reality, what we can experience through our normal senses, our 5 or 6 senses, right? With their limited range and their limited capacity. we need to go beyond that and perceive other realms and other realities, and ultimate reality especially. Right? And by doing so, we thereby can change who we are and what we are. How? Some pixie powder that we picked up in another realm? No. By perceiving ultimate reality, by perceiving highest reality, and by directly experiencing and verifying the absolute laws of the universe firsthand through experience, we know exactly what to do and what not to do to be in paradise and to not suffer. So when we experience this reality and we know directly and experientially that these are the things that cause my personal suffering, and these are the things which cause my personal paradise, universal paradise, then we'd be fools to not live that way. Right? And so the direct experience of ultimate reality provides the basis to change how we live, which changes who we are and what we are. As we behave more purely, more virtuously, then the nature of our perception shifts, the nature of our mind changes, our mind becomes more pure, more virtuous, our body becomes more pure, more virtuous, our surroundings become more pure and more virtuous, and we begin to transform ourselves and our world into a much better one. And the idea is to do this before you die. You know, the advanced teachings of Buddhism, the tantric teachings of Buddhism, are specifically designed to accomplish this in this lifetime before we die. The open teachings of Buddhism are meant as a foundation for those things. And so I would encourage anyone here who's serious about putting an end to your suffering and attaining paradise in this life to seriously investigate the more advanced teachings of Buddhism, especially if you made it this far. If you made it through the other 11 courses, which I'm just going to presume everyone here has, right? You know, if you've studied Lamrim, meditation, how karma works, emptiness, vows, all the rest, you've reached the 6 perfections and you've reached this point, you know, you're probably ready to take on some more substantial information and do a more substantial practice to try to accelerate the results that you're achieving. So just a little side pitch there. If we can hook up with this thing called emptiness or ultimate reality, we can put an end to all of our suffering forever. We never have to die again. We never have to be angry again. We never have to be jealous again. You never have to worry about money again. You never have to worry about your credit cards. You never have to worry about dating. You never have to worry about kids, you know, and on and on and on. And your job, and, you know, your trade's going to go bad, or whatever it is, you know. Should have been